All right, thank you for joining us for our semifinal pre-match press conferences. We're joined by UC Irvine. We have head coach David Niffen, student athletes Connor Campbell, Maxim Grigoriev, and Brett Sheward. We'll start with a statement from Coach Niffen and then open it up for questions. When you're ready, Coach.
Yeah, grateful to be here. Ready to answer some questions.
Taryn Rodriguez, host of Set Point on IE Sports Radio. Coach, how much of a relief was it getting the team's first postseason win since 2013, and how much does that motivate the team going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about playing in the Big West is everything feels like a championship postseason. So obviously you're referring to NCAA postseason. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel that much different than a conference postseason win just because of the nature of our conference. But it sure was cool to watch like the transition between jittery first set to gaining some traction to feeling more comfortable on the court as the match went on. So I don't think there was like a final moment at the end of the match that I felt anything different, but I felt like the dimmer switch was getting turned on.
Coach, just to expand on that a little bit, I think that's interesting that playing in the Big West has helped prepare you for the NCAA championship. You know, and what have those conference championship matchups been like the last few years that makes you say that?
Sure. I guess all I mean by that is there's not a gimme. There's not everything's an authentic matchup in a Big West tournament bracket. So I think there's a lot of ways to prepare for an NCAA tournament. I think there's probably value in having a simpler first round matchup. You know, maybe that happens in a different conference, but it's everything's a battle. So that mindset is the helpful piece.
Vane Lopes here from Off the Block. Question for all the players. You played UCLA twice this season, but it was at the beginning of the season. What's been the biggest improvement in your team since the last time you played the Bruins?
I think our lineup has changed a little bit. We're kind of discovering our identity on the court, and then just solidifying our values and like what our team does. So probably the serve pass game and how our offense is run for me.
Adding on to that, actually, like the health of our players has just been, I think we've been getting better and better, and that just comes with our sports med facilities, and it's just been great. So.
Yeah, I think the trajectory of our season has just continued to improve, and that's with the lineup finally coming into place, and then just the cohesiveness of the unit.
And this is a question for Brett. You obviously made it back to the semifinals for the third straight year. The previous two were with Hawaii. How different is it this year as opposed to the previous two, if any different?
I mean, obviously it's different because I'm with a new team. First year with the Irvine guys, so it's been really special. And proud to be back. Grateful to be here.
For Connor and Max, you've had some great connections, especially running through the middle. Can you just talk about kind of that on-court relationship that you have with Brett and how you all have continued to get strong connections and really get good offensive opportunities throughout the season?
Yeah, I think with Brett, he's a guy that's been there when it matters most. He's a guy that's proved himself as a libero and as a setter, and that confidence that he puts in you, getting you the ball, just helps you play confident yourself, so it gives us great chances.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think it's just confidence and composure. Brett's a very composed guy on the court, and it just helps you like relax and just do what you needed to do, and then it just like all comes together once it's like game time. So. And
then for anyone on the podium for this question, last time UCLA played you, they hit 400 plus. Can you just talk about what you all are going to have to do defensively well to slow down the Bruins tomorrow?
Man, best defense is a good offense. Maybe we should just hit 500 plus. That would probably do it.
Sure. I like those numbers.
Yeah. Well, Coach, talking about your offense as well, you guys may hit 500 plus with the way you all have been playing. Can you just talk about the offense and how it's continued to improve and what you see has been the biggest strength of the offense moving into the conference or NCAA tournament?
Yeah, 500 plus would be a big ask. I mean, I think the offensive consistency comes with a little bit of lineup consistency. As we've gotten a little bit more stable and kind of understand who's going to be out there, and we're not dealing with the injuries that we were through the early parts of the season. So certainly, we missed out on some training time and times to refine how we play the game. I think there's a good understanding of the current abilities, and I think the best ability is reliability. And so as we go through, having guys on the court that we kind of know who they are, and you saw them out there, last night. We know what each guy can do, and they just need to play within their skill sets, and I think that gives us the best shot at offensive production.
And just going off that, you have a blessing because you have so many talented players. I know a lot of people were wondering Darcy or Flexen, who's going to start. Can you just talk about kind of the thought process on which one you're looking at starting for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, Will's been our most consistent opposite, and he's played big in some really big matches, and, the physicality piece is real. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about, blessed with talented athletes, that's what you're going to get from all four of these teams as you get in here. Everybody can play the game at a high level. It'll come down to, which 6-7 guys execute on the court, not how many guys we have.
Question for all the players, lighter question, but you have a fantastic mascot. We saw the mascot there yesterday. If you were to coach up the mascot, what position do you think he would be best at in volleyball?
Good question. I'd probably put him in the middle, but I wouldn't take these two guys out, so that would be kind of a tough choice. But he would be like the third middle, energy guy coming off the bench, just fire everybody up.
You're talking about our mascot?
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the
Anteater.
Yeah, he's on the coaching staff. It's just not. There's not much wingspan there to do anything functional on the court.
Yeah, I would say probably coaching spot. I was thinking libero at first, but he's being way too slow to get anywhere.
I would say maybe middle because he got some big paws or whatever those things are called, and if he can jump high, who knows?
All right, Taryn.
And then this is a question for Coach. Cole Power obviously was named All-American, and he's kind of been a little bit of an unsung hero in my book. Talk to us about how Cole Power has just been a defensive digging dynamo. And the other three players can chime in as well.
I've said this before about Cole Power, but I think, and this is probably true of many people that we all know out there in different walks of life, but you don't get to see Cole Power in terms of his superpowers and him playing at his absolute best until he knows that the guy to the right and left of him really authentically care about him. And for some reason, he's just wired that way. If you want to see the best in him, make sure you walk up to him and let him know, there's no one I'd rather be on the court with than you. And that's when you get to see him really shine. And I think that's what you're seeing this year is something that's so unique to college sports, where when we sign on, he came in, I think he was gaining comfort level with his teammates, how we do things here. And it took a little while for him to get comfortable. And then we saw him get a little bit better last year, and then we saw him get better this year. And I think that speaks more to the depth of relationship that he has with his teammates than necessarily to the touches that he continues to get, which he's the first guy you'll find in the gym, and a lot of times the last guy you'll find in the gym. So certainly he's putting in the work, but if I was really looking behind the curtain, I'd say it has a lot more to do with his comfort level with his teammates.
Coach, I know in one of the previous news conferences you had an opportunity to talk about Brett, so I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about the two guys who you brought on today, Connor and Max, what they have meant to your team this season and how they've continued to improve as players.
Sure. Well, when Connor came in, he was not a very good volleyball player, and but man, there was just so much. He had so much passion coming in, and his work ethic was good. He passed all kind of the character reference tests, as we go around, and loved talking to his parents, and just it felt like this was going to be a guy I wanted to walk through 4 years with. Maybe he ends up being a good player, maybe not. Certainly had the physical capacity to do it. So the great thing for me is I'm fired up. He's playing good volleyball, but it's just been such a gift to walk through 4 years of life with this guy. And I expect him to, find me in the living room at some point later for coffee once he graduates. And I know my kids are already curious if, Bon will come back after he's done playing on the team. That's always a tough moment for our kids when the guys graduate. And then for Max, Max, for guys that remember watching the game when he was playing in high school, he was kind of the Swiss Army knife of that Pac Rim team, and played every position. Gives a lot of credit to Roger Worsley for coaching him up and helping him become the complete volleyball player he is. I'm just super grateful to his willingness to show up where needed, when needed, because he's played just about every position for us. He's got a couple years left in our program, so we'll give him a tryout at the libero and setter spot going into next season. He played a little outside hitter for us in Korea this past summer, so he's done it all. And if necessity mandates tomorrow night, we'll put him somewhere else if we have to, and he'll be ready to show up.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey.